All right, what's up? Here we are with the trading recap for Monday, June 27th. We have 3 more days left in the month. We have today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And my goal here is to finish strong, solidly for the end of the month, especially after a red week last week. However, I did keep my losses small, so I was able to make back most of my loss thus far between 4 red days in 2 days. So in 2 days, I made back about 85% of my losses. My biggest drawdown. So let's go through my drawdown. Here's my calendar. So I have 4 red days, and then in 2 green days, I made back about 80 to 85% of my loss, which is a really good sign. As a trader, is if you're able to make back your red days much faster than like a 1-to-1 ratio. So 1 green day should be able to make back more than 1 red day. You want your red days obviously to be smaller than your average green day, which is a really good sign. It's like a long-term healthy as a trader. So let's go. My drawdown here was max. I was down 532 combined out of 4 red days. So, and I made back about 400 of that. So that's about what, 20%. So I made about 80% of my loss back. So a little bit, actually a little bit, yeah, almost exactly. I made about 80% of my loss back within 2 days out of 4 red days. So that's really solid. That's where you want to be. As a trader, you don't want to have huge losses to where it takes back multiple green days to make back 1 red day. You want it kind of like a reverse. So that's all good. We don't have to review that again. Still on a good track for the month, even though I did have a red week. Now I'm starting to feel more comfortable in the driver's seat. I'm starting to hit the gas a little bit harder. Taking bigger share size, kind of creeping myself back up to trying to progress with bigger and bigger share size to heights that I have not yet to tackle. So let's go through these trades. AFIB was the one I traded first, pre-market. It didn't give much opportunity. However, on these little pops, if you were trading these breakouts, you probably could have walked away here 5%, walked here with 5%. So combined, you probably could have got away between like not obviously getting the top tick and the bottom tick. You probably could have walked away with 5% going into the open. If you were very selective on AFIB, did not give any continuation. So if you were going back in on these dips, kind of like I did here, you would obviously take a pretty fat loss here because it did not hold anything. So AFIB wasn't the best. It really wasn't. I was kind of a little bit disappointed with, I didn't really trade it too well. I was down $10. I was going for these kind of breakouts, but this candle popped up, kind of shook myself out of this. Like the problem with these $1 tickers or anything under $1, it's really hard to read the tape just because it's so thick, and it seems like momentum shifts just so like fast. Like you'll see like a huge bid, and then it'll bid up a couple cents, and then this huge ass seller will just come in and bid it back down, and then you think it's bearish, and then out of nowhere this big bid just comes up, and it's matched with another big seller, and it's really hard to see which way the momentum is going. That's why I have a little bit of trouble trading these types of stocks. Even the level 2, sometimes I like to use this if it's under $1, because the ladder is just all like, it's just, I don't like to use the ladder with under $1 because it does like sub pennies and doesn't show the whole ladder. And I don't like using the zoom in, zoom out because I forget to zoom it back in or zoom it back out. And then when I go to my next stock, it's all messed up. And then I have to remember exactly how many times I clicked that to get back out. It's just kind of like a mess. So I just like to stay away from these dollar and sub-dollar stocks as much as I can. But this was all that was moving pre-market. So I kind of felt like I had no choice. But in reality, I probably shouldn't have been trading at all. So you got that pop here. However, I shook myself out here, sold too soon here. missed out a little bit of profit there, missed out about $30 to $40. And here again, I missed out on about maybe about $50, $60 if I got that breakout, because I was in at 110. I should have held, waited for that breakout of the 9 EMA, or sorry, the hold of the 9 EMA, and then it ripped back up to the high. I did think it had a potential to make a longer consolidation, like a ABCD pattern, and then a rip up, but I was just kind of predicting at that point. I should have saw that it was holding the 9 EMA and curling back up, so I probably should have took a starter here at about 110, 111 for that break of this pivot, and then ride that up to 115 to add. But that didn't work out like that. I kind of got in a little bit too early, and then I kind of pulled back and shook myself out, and then kind of went. So a little bit off with my timing, but even then, like, there's not much meat on the bone here. Then I tried to go in for a pullback here, maybe some continuation, but didn't work out. Here again, I thought maybe we'd see that curl back up to 123, but it didn't happen. AFIB was kind of not worth it to even trade. And other than that, there was nothing else pre-market. I did try BoxD because I did see on BOXD, I saw like a cup and handle on the daily. So I thought this was a good pattern. So we have this cup here, curls back up to the highs here, and then has that dip for the handle. This was bought back up relatively quickly overnight. And now we're testing, curl back up, testing 270. So I was looking for a break at 270 and a rip up to 290s and then maybe up through 3. I thought it was going to happen pre-market on this level. So that's why I got a little bit aggressive here. Looking for that move through 270, but it just got stuffed on the level. And as soon as I saw that it got stuffed, I took it off because pre-market, it was still kind of lighter volume, only about 100,000 shares, 150,000 shares. So I didn't want to risk it. On a $2 stock, I kind of want to see 300,000, 200 to 300,000 shares per minute if it's a really strong stock. So seeing this kind of action, definitely I needed to cut my losses short, and I'm happy I did because it did go backside and it didn't really give clean action. It did curl back up here and then finally did give that move, but I wasn't watching it there, and I don't know. I guess you could have made a decent profit here, but I wasn't there to trade it. I think I was looking at NRSN at that point. Yeah, here NRSN popping up at 8:30, so I was focused on NRSN. So here pre-market, I saw NRSN and I was looking for that move through 250 and the high of 249 and 250. So I got my first position here at 249 for that breakout. Then we popped up, and then my first entry was at 243. And then we broke out, and so instead of taking my profits, I could have took about $50 in profits. Instead of getting profit, I added at 253. I thought we were going to see, it felt strong. This candle was on higher volume, over 200,000 shares. I thought we would see that next leg up to 270. I thought there was a little bit more meat in the bone, so I did add, which, isn't a bad move. It wasn't a bad move, but it did kind of stuff that area, and I started taking it off for about break even. So I got out break even on this whole move. Then it did curl back up. Here, man, this was a perfect entry. 234, I was like, this is going to hold VWAP and then curl back up. Then it dips down below VWAP, and I'm underwater 10 cents. And then it kind of just consolidates under VWAP. And then I'm like, this candle comes in, makes a new low for a second, and I shake myself out at 297. Then it curls right back up, rips through the high. If I was holding 500 shares there, man, I would be up like $200 on 500 shares. And then I would add to this position, but whatever. I mean, that's what happens sometimes. I was trying to save my downside here, which a lot of the times you'll see this pop up and then it'll just literally flush for no reason, 15%, because nobody's interested. Pre-market wasn't that hot, so I do understand what I was trying to do here in the moment. I was trying to protect my downside risk. But it did curl back up, and then I didn't hesitate. I took a position for the break of the high. My first position was at 252, and then adding at 260, taking my profits in the 60s, trying to scalp on the first pullback entries. And then we had this test. I thought we would see this test closer to the 9 EMA, but it did pop up before we did hit the 9 EMA. So I wasn't as confident as I would be if it did hold on this consolidation and wait for this 9 EMA to catch up and for it to kind of push it up. Because anything that's suspended, making consolidation is suspended above the 9 EMA, I'm always a little bit skeptical that it's going to be a false breakout, especially in this type of market. So it was good that I did take my profits really early on this pop through the high. So this was about 1 cent gain. And so overall, I think it was up like $100 or so at the end of pre-market, which is a solid cushion to have going into the open. Here I was kind of buying off the 9 EMA. I saw these wicks getting bought up, so I thought we might see that pop, but it just kept kind of going backside. Here, then it dipped down below and reclaimed, so I did buy, looking for that move up to 280, back up to the high, but no good. What's next here? Here kind of buying off the low, kind of anticipating a sort of pop, which we did get. Here, taking my profits here at 263 on the break of that 9 EMA back over. Here you can see you have this nice downtrend that we broke. So to give a nice pop. Then here I took a starter looking for that break back up through the high. I saw volume coming back in, back over the 9 EMA. This looks pretty good. You know, everything was looking good. Holding a previous breakout level above the VWAP, breaking back over the 9 EMA and higher volume. Great to see a good starter there. So I took my starter, tried adding to my position at 273 for a move up to 280, but sellers came in and I had to take that off for a small loss. So now I'm down to about, I think I was down to like 75 now going into the open. I think that was like a $25 loss. And then here we started curling back up again. So I was like, all right, well, I guess, you know, I don't want to, you know, kind of let this kind of get away from me. So I did take a starter again at 269, thinking we might see that move back up to 280 I was looking for. And then sellers came in again and pushed it back down, taking a small loss, taking my small losses, starter size, 500 shares. I'm not gunning it yet. I wouldn't gun it unless I saw high volume going back in at 280 and testing 280. I think this was sort of like a FOMO trade, this last trade here at pre-market. I think I should have been a little bit more patient there, but I should have at least waited for the open. There was a very low chance that it would rip up through 2.8 before the open because the volume profile. But I think that was a little bit of a FOMO trade. I probably could have sat that one out. Then at the open, I started just scalping the range here. I love scalping the first 1 minute candle. Just, you know, taking a position relatively low in that first candle, and then once it gets bought back up, just sell it immediately. And if you really think it's strong, then you can hold that entry and then look to add for the break of the pivot. At this case would be 272. But I just saw a lot of sellers and buyers both ways on this stock in the open. That's why you had this crazy range. This was like, yeah, 5%, 5 to 7% range on these candles. I was just scalping the crap out of it. Here I got 5 cents on 3,000 shares. So that's what, 35, it's like $150. That's really solid on the first 1 minute candle. And here again, 260, 261. So that's another like $10 there. Here I took a loss, only on 500 shares though, about 4 cents on 500 shares. So that's about 20 bucks, $20 loss. I got in a little bit too high. I thought this candle would see that rip and that pop up, but we didn't get it. Always quick to sell my profits. Take my loss on these trades. These are really quick scalp trades. This is like one of my strong suits I'm starting to find. I'm very, very profitable just kind of scalping the first couple minutes, even if it's not breaking out, like even if it's just ranging, I'm able to buy confidently off the lows on a small size, and then adding to it as it's getting bought back up. And then looking to sell at just a couple cent profit, because this is just a couple cents here. My average here is now 258 after averaging buying on this dip here. I'm looking to take it off when this candle starts flipping green. I'm not waiting for the breakout yet. I'm just taking my profits quick, which was a really good. Which was a really good outcome for this type of price action here at the open. Here we did. I thought here I took a quick position. Here 261 on 750 shares. This ripped up. I was waiting. I thought this would be it. The volume was coming in, so it dipped down below, got bought back up, took my position at 261. It started turning green, getting to a full body candle on higher volume. I thought we'd see that pop up to 274 and then rip to the high, but it got stuffed again. Had to take my loss. No ifs, ands, or buts. Went sideways again. And by this time, all of the other stocks, Box D, AFIB, were going backside. This was the only stock holding up. And so all the eyes were on this stock. And then out of nowhere, this started ripping. And this is the stock, this is what you needed to be watching. And this is what you needed to be waiting for the whole morning. Nothing gave a better move than NRSN here at 937. And if you just took this one move and walked away, that would be the best. You'd be in the best position on the day. You literally could have done nothing better if you just took this 3-minute move and then walked away. So here it is ripped up, volume just coming out of nowhere, breaking back over the 9 EMA, looking for that break back over the pivot point, took that position 269, adding at 270, adding at 272, taking some profits, adding back at 276, and the reason I took my profits here at 273, I should have held in hindsight. But because of all of this whippy price action, I didn't know if this next candle was just going to come in and just flush back down. I was a little bit hesitant. I was a little bit actually nervous that red candle would come in and just flash down, because this was really choppy price action. So I didn't know if I could trust this. So I took my profits quick, looking to add back if it did hold up. And it did hold up. Got my position back in. However, I didn't get a good fill. And then it popped up, and then I got a bad fill again on the sell, unfortunately. And then I got back in for the break at 3, taking some profits at 302, 297. And then I got back in at 299 for the break back over 3. And then I'm taking some profits at 303, 307, 295. That was a break. Last one was a break even. Here I took a dip, this first red candle after all these green candles, looking for the dip, and kind of like a front side dip buy here off 308, taking some profits at 314. That's a solid 7 cents almost. Here again, taking another dip at 309. This was riskier because it was a false breakout up here, so you want to be more careful buying that dip after a false breakout, because there's a high chance that it could be a flush coming. But it did kind of go sideways, and then I looked to buy off the 9 EMA here, but we didn't get that push I was looking for, so taking that off, break even. Here I got faked out. I bought at 319. I thought this would be the candle that would rip back up through the high. Did stuff in that level, took my small loss. Here again, I thought it would be that move. Took again about a scratch or a small win. And then this candle came in, broke through the high. I took my profits immediately at 3.3, which is the high of this candle. I got the best fill on a quick scalp, only 250 shares though. By this time, I was already sized down. I was like, I don't know if this is going to give anything more. And then it started going backside, and that was it. NRSN did give the best move of the day. It was a relatively low float, did have some news. The only thing holding up at the open, when the bell rings, what I'm looking for is like which stock is going to be the winner. Where is the volume mostly at? Where is the highest relative volume? Which stock has the highest relative volume? And clearly NRSN had a low float and had the most volume, but we didn't find that out until 9:37. It was a little bit delayed because he did have AFIB, people watching AFIB at the open. Maybe that was a hard maybe, but it didn't go anywhere. And which was the other one? AGRX was down backside. This was falling out of the moves. It wasn't looking good. And then we also had, was it, crap. What else is moving here? AXSM was moving, but this is a larger float. 38, 39 million float. This one was also going backside. So there was nothing else to really look at. And so NRSN, I had a feeling this would be the big winner, which wasn't really that big. It was only about a 20% move from bottom to top, from the open to the top. From bottom to top, it's a much bigger one. It's what, 90%. Still pretty big move. But this is a classic gap and go. It held its range here. So now I'm looking. It's getting bought up off the bottom. So this is obvious. This is an obvious watch. This is the one that ripped up. Could have made your profits in 3, 4, 5 minutes. Walked away and been happy. But that would have to require a lot of discipline and not over trading pre-market. And then also not over trading after 10 o'clock because nothing happened after 10 o'clock. Literally, it was not worth to be trading after 10, at least for me. Definitely good that I exercised discipline. I didn't overtrade today. But the clear sign was NRSN holding this level and not going backside. And then you knew the pop was inevitable. You knew the shorts were going to get squeezed out because every time it would dip down below and try to go backside, it would get bought back up, and you can just see it on the tape. You can feel the strength on the stock, and you knew that pop was coming. And here it did come, and then it's all game on, volume coming in. You're looking to get aggressive, especially if it's still underneath the pre-market high. That's a really good risk-reward ratio. You're kind of playing off the high there, and then your low is looking, potential if it does fake out up here. So you're looking to cut it maybe around 260s, low 260s. So you're risking 10 cents for it went 50 cents from that area, 275 to 230, or sorry, 330. About 50 cents, 55 cents. It's a solid risk-reward ratio. And so once I see that momentum picking up and it feels strong and we're still underneath this level, this breakout level, I'm looking to play off this level. I'm looking to add underneath it as long as there's still strength and it's still over the 90 MA, volume still coming in. I'm looking to take now profits quickly off the breakout if it does do a false breakout. But the best move is to hold one portion size or half portion size for that extension, which we did get, and I didn't hold on to that. I didn't even get my full size down here, so it could have been a bigger day, but I'm still happy with where I'm at. I'm happy that I did get aggressive at some points in this stock on these pullbacks here, and also at the open here I got aggressive, and I was able to walk away solidly green. So happy with my performance today, and that's it for today. Tomorrow we're going to come back again. Hopefully we see a little bit better action, a little bit more action. But NRSN gave a solid move, so I'll be happy if we get something like this again tomorrow. Make my money within 30 minutes and walk away. That would be awesome. Just got to stay disciplined pre-market, because sometimes pre-market can be very long and there's nothing moving, and you've got to stay disciplined not to overtrade. And that's always the worst feeling, is when you get into a deep hole pre-market and now you're just trying to dig yourself out, and then the market opens and there's nothing to trade, or if there is something to trade, you're still trying to dig yourself out of the hole on these moves that are so good. Instead of going from your 0 to your daily goal, you're going from being in the red to trying to get back green, and then now you got to work your way from 0 to get to your daily goal, and that's always a hard stride to make. And today was not really the market that gave that kind of opportunity to have that huge swing in your P&L, unless you were taking huge share size on this move here, and you had to nail it. Because if you didn't nail it, I mean, the best you could be is probably back to break even if you were red pre-market, and you'd still probably be a little bit frustrated with how you traded. So hopefully we do keep getting some better action, more consistent action, especially pre-market. So looking forward to see what tomorrow has. So, all right, that's it for me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace. Also, if you're still watching, oh my God. In the description is an invite for the Discord that I'm in, and also a lot of other traders. You will definitely learn a lot in that Discord, especially if you're new. You should definitely pop in sometime and see what is going on. Also, I have a link down in the description to Trade Journal, which is a free journaling software or platform to where you can upload your trades for free, and you can take advantage of all the metrics that you can procure from all of your trades, and seeing where you thrive and what kind of setups you do good at. And that's very, very valuable information, because you want to stick to what you're good at and dial it in and size up. So it's really good to know more about your trading. So definitely journal, and Trade Journal is free. I suggest you use that if you don't want to use a paid platform. And I think it does give the most bang for your buck. So that's it. And also, please hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, peace.